Number 1. Kaya USA is a channel where the creator loves sharing outdoor experiences, from fishing trips and truck camping to hands-on DIY projects and helpful tips. He often camps out in forests and scenic spots, and this time he planned a fun lake trip with some friends. The weather was beautiful but brutally hot, and they had no idea how wild the day was about to get. It wasn't even 8 a.m. yet in Alabama, and it was already 80 degrees. After a quick shower and a short walk through the garage to hook up his kayak, he was already sweating. The heat was intense, but he wasn't going to let that ruin the day.
Actually, not even 8 o'clock in the morning yet, and it's already 80 degrees outside here in Alabama. I just took a shower and walked through my garage, hooked the kayak up, did that little bit of filming with you guys, and I already broke a sweat just in that little window of time for me being from inside of the house to getting inside the truck. So it is going to be super hot this weekend. Still going to have a good time. I don't like rushing my summers. I used to say, man, I can't wait for fall, man, I can't wait for fall. And then as soon as fall comes, you enjoy it. But then it gets super cold here during the winter, and you're like, man, I can't wait for summer or spring. I can't wait for summer or spring. So I try not to rush through everything.
He talked about how he's stopped wishing for fall or spring because each season has its downsides. Now he just tries to enjoy the moment, even if it means sweating a little. With camp all set up, he started pulling out his fishing rods from a handy topwater box he swears by. Expensive, yes, but worth it if you need a good way to carry rods.
Ended up catching up with me, so we're out here together. They were able to get a spot right next to me. Getting here early like this, you can kind of pick the spots you want. But the truck popped up pretty quick. I got the Benny Hike tent on top with the Benny Hike awning. I think that's the 9-foot awning.
He had his truck set up with a Benny Hike tent and a big awning that provided some much needed shade. Everything seemed good to go. Even though he noticed a storm on the radar, he didn't think much of it and headed out to fish anyway. He tied on a swim rat lure from a mystery tackle box and tried his luck in the lake. But things started shifting fast.
This is the mic. Y'all hear that thunder? Oh man, I think it's going around us. This is the, yeah, and I'm in the water. This is the Mike Buka, I believe that's how it said, swim rat. Look at that. I've never fished a rat, but I'm told Lake Gunnersville is where to do it, so we're gonna try it out.
Suddenly the wind picked up and dark clouds rolled in. What was peaceful a moment ago turned chaotic in seconds.
Y'all, so I don't know how much I just filmed out in the water. Me and Dylan were both just waiting and fishing, and look what just rolled up on us. Look at this. It is pouring, and that's only a few hundred yards away. It is white capping out here in the water. Look at this. This just came up out of nowhere. I don't know how bad that looks on camera, but it's pretty bad. Can you see the white caps out here? Let me zoom in. Water. We're kind of hoping it goes around us. We've had something pop up on us right here, and it is bad, y'all. I don't know if you can tell, but we're inside of this gazebo, holding it down, and it's picking me up. Holy shit.
Rain came pouring down and the water turned rough with whitecaps forming. He and Dylan were still out there fishing when it hit. They had to rush to take cover under a gazebo, holding it down as strong winds slammed against it. It was getting scary.
Bro, I hope we ain't got no tornado popped up on us. Oh my God. This is nuts, y'all. I hope that pole holds up, because that's what's holding my kayak. This is absolutely insane, y'all. Look at this.
Poles holding the kayak were shaking, tree limbs were falling nearby, and the storm was unlike anything they'd experienced. At one point, they considered hiding under the truck for safety.
Oh my God. I think we're in a tornado, y'all. Hey, that tree just went down. That tree just went down beside us. Guys, I think we are in the middle of a tornado. My kayak is beached. The tree came down behind us. Holy cow, guys.
Then, boom, a tree crashed down right beside them. Once things calmed down a bit, they stepped outside and saw what could have been a tragedy.
It's kind of peaked, guys. I think we just stood in a tornado. Look at this. This is where we were going to park. We changed our mind the last second and parked down there. We wanted to park right behind the bathroom, and we decided to go a little bit further. This was going to be our camping spot, right where this tree's laying. I want y'all to see what just came down. Look, that's beside Dylan. This is where we were going to camp, and right there is where we're camped. This pine would have took us out, man.
A massive tree had fallen exactly where they almost parked earlier. At the last second, they chose a different camping spot, and that decision may have saved their lives. Later, it was confirmed a tornado had passed right through their area. The wind was so strong it ripped trees out of the ground. What could have been a peaceful weekend fishing trip turned into a terrifying brush with nature's fury. Fortunately, everyone was safe, and after the storm cleared, they returned to the lake. They made it through unharmed.
Subscribe and help us reach 20,000 subscribers. 90% of you have not subscribed yet, so please do, it's free.
Number 2, this next clip comes from the YouTube channel Happy Mountain Trekkers, where Jason documents all kinds of outdoor adventures, from peaceful hikes and solo camping trips to survival strategies and bushcraft techniques. His content is usually laid back, informative, and inspiring, encouraging others to head out into the wild and create their own memories. But not every trip goes as planned, and the one we're about to talk about definitely didn't. On April 2nd, 2019, Jason kicked off his first camping trip of the year with high hopes. He was eager to return to a forest base camp he'd started building the previous fall. The moment he arrived, he strapped on his gear and hit the trail, hiking through the woods to the quiet little clearing he now considered his second home.
Figured I'd take a break. Got about 3 hours of daylight left. I know it don't look like a lot, but I'm working my butt off. I haven't filmed a lot of it.
With only a few hours of daylight left, Jason spent the afternoon improving his shelter and setting up for the night ahead. Though the camera wasn't rolling the whole time, he'd been hard at work and needed a breather. Once the camp was ready, he settled in, carved a wooden spoon to pass the time, and enjoyed the peaceful evening.
I made some good progress on my spoon, but I think I'm done with it for the night. Yeah, that little spoon knife is pretty daggone sharp. She bit me. I shouldn't have been carving in the low light conditions, but I was wanting to get it done before morning. That's what I get. But yeah, I'm done with that for the night. Well, boys and girls, getting ready to hit the hay. It's a little after 9, and I'm whipped. I think like I'm gonna sleep good tonight. It's supposed to be relatively warm in the 50s, and it feels like it.
Dinner came and went, and Jason was more than satisfied with the progress he'd made. He called it a night, thinking the worst thing he had to worry about was his slightly injured finger, cut by a spoon knife while carving in the dimming light. A warm night in the 50s seemed like the perfect setup for some well-deserved sleep. The quiet didn't last. Around 10 p.m., just as Jason was about to drift off, he was jolted awake by a sound that chilled him to the bone.
10 after 10. I laid down about 9 o'clock, and I was trying to go to sleep. It took me a while, and I was almost asleep, and sometime before 10, I was woke up by something I've never heard in my life. And I know this might sound sensational or something that, I'm not bullshitting. I heard like 4 quick, very loud, deep guttural calls on this ridge behind me, behind camp. There's like a dip on the other side, and it goes up to a higher ridge on this backside, and it sounded like it come from over there. But it was like 4 calls, almost like a communication call of some kind. They were back to back, and then there was a pause, and then I heard 2 more. It scared the absolute shit out of me. I'm still rattled. I've never heard anything like that in my life. It sounded like a mix between almost like a pig, some kind of, I hate to even say it, but a pig, an ape, and the calls almost sounded like how the velociraptors.
From somewhere beyond the ridge behind his camp, he heard a series of loud, deep, and guttural calls, unlike anything he'd heard before.
I've never heard anything like that in my life. Needless to say, I'm pretty wigged out being up here by myself. I got up and got this first thing. I don't know what the hell that was, but it was big. It sounded big.
Jason, clearly shaken, described it as a strange mix between a pig and an ape. Though he hesitated to even say it out loud, the sound reminded him of how velociraptors communicated in Jurassic Park. Years of experience in the wild hadn't prepared him for something like this. Whatever made that noise wasn't small, and it certainly wasn't familiar. He sat up, rattled, trying to make sense of what just happened. But the forest had fallen silent again. No footsteps, no snapping twigs, nothing. After some time passed and no other signs of danger presented themselves, Jason eventually decided to try sleeping again.
It's about 1 o'clock. I woke up again. I heard something circle my camp. Whatever it is, it's close.
He kept his weapon nearby for comfort just in case, but sleep wouldn't last. Around 1 a.m., another noise woke him, a rustling sound, followed by what he described as something circling his entire campsite. Jason stayed alert and whispered into the camera, clearly unnerved. He heard it move around the perimeter of his camp, as if it were checking him out. Curiosity eventually pushed him to step outside. Flashlight in hand, Jason did a careful loop around the area.
Whatever it is, it sounded like there was 2 or 3 of them, and it started on the other side. my camp. One around my perimeter. I heard that. Yeah.
Though he didn't see anything right away, he noted that it sounded like more than one creature, maybe 2 or 3. It had started on one side of the camp and moved all the way around him. Trying to keep calm, Jason told himself it was probably deer. He'd seen plenty of them before and knew they were common in the area. But deep down, he wasn't entirely convinced. That unsettling growl from earlier just didn't match anything he knew deer could produce. The next morning, after making it through the night without further incident, Jason reviewed his footage and uploaded the video. That's when things took an unexpected twist. Viewers began pointing out something he hadn't noticed: glowing eyes in the darkness, more than one pair, and the most disturbing part, they were far too high off the ground to belong to a deer. Whatever was out there that night remains a mystery. Jason didn't realize what he had captured until it was pointed out by others, but now, looking back, he can't help but wonder what exactly was watching him from the shadows. Thankfully, he made it through the night safe and sound, but even for a seasoned outdoorsman like Jason, this experience was one he won't forget anytime soon. This next clip comes from the YouTube channel Proving Demons, where the crew ventures into an old abandoned mine shaft, chillingly known as a rumored portal to hell. With cameras rolling and nerves on edge, the team begins their descent into darkness, unaware of the strange events awaiting them.
Welcome to the gates of hell, everybody. We're in.
At first, the mood is lighthearted, with jokes comparing the eerie surroundings to something out of Minecraft. But the deeper they go, the weirder things get.
My life, our life, all the boys, is literally just Minecraft in real life. Isn't it? I mean, this is just flat out Minecraft in real life. Oh God, I've just come up to something quite odd. There's just a black door down here. There's only one way to find out what's behind it. Being weighted with a rock. Obviously not strong enough to keep me out. What's up? Shh.
I don't know if it was the echoes from you walking, but I had to stop because it sounded like people was just like walking behind me talking.
Really?
Yeah.
One of them stumbles upon a pitch-black door sealed with a rock. Not exactly the most comforting discovery underground. As he opens it, the atmosphere shifts completely. Suddenly, strange sounds echo through the tunnel. Footsteps, faint voices, and an unsettling moaning that seems to follow one of the explorers. Frozen in fear, he describes hearing breathing and whispers coming from the shadows, and it only gets worse.
And moaning? What the hell is that? Oh God, it's getting louder. Do you hear that? Oh God, I don't like that. Crap, I need to try and catch some of it on the recorder. There's some hellish noises going on. Oh God. I can't go that way though. I just heard like a whisper while you're breathing. I don't want to be near that though.
Separated from the group, he rushes back in a panic and demands answers. Had anyone been banging or making noises like drums or moaning? The others are just baffled, like they left a drum behind, but no one had been near it. The sounds, whatever they were, weren't coming from them.
It's quite a ways away from you guys. It honestly sounded like the entrance to hell. I could hear boom, 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 and just something going, "Ugh." Like it was really faint and like muffled.
Really calls the gates of hell.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
They may have made it out safely, but the lingering question remains. What was hiding in that darkness, echoing through the mind like something straight out of a nightmare? Brazilian explorer Filipe Santa is no stranger to haunted places, but this next encounter might be one of his most unsettling yet. Known for his solo adventures into abandoned and cursed locations, Filipe takes on a chilling challenge, spending the night alone inside his car on what locals call the most haunted road in the interior of Hidrolândia. Once a well-used route, the road is now cracked, overgrown, and forgotten, flanked by dense brush, eerie ruins, and homes long claimed by nature, or something darker.
Growth.
A árvore caída, família. Vai começar assim, ó. Aí, ó. A árvore caída já no meio do caminho. Oi. Deixa eu passar aqui a marcha agora só com a mão, né? Como é que tá aqui, galera? Sinistro, viu? Eu tô até com o vidro aberto. Eu tô com medo aqui, ó. Tô pra fechar esse vidro já. Olha como é que é sinistro aqui o lugar, família. Eu vou mostrar só uma parte aqui do lugar, família. Por quê? Porque senão o vídeo vai ficar muito longo. Só pra nós chegar lá e ficar meio sinistro, se liga? Eita! A história tá ruim, família. Até um dia que eu não tinha andado pra cá.
Locals tell stories of phantom lights, ghostly figures on the roadside, and chains dragging through the night.
Olha que tem casa assombrada aqui pra esse lado aqui também. Eu acampei aqui no rio, aqui próximo. Não vou mentir pra vocês não, cara. Foi sinistro. Deu medo mesmo assim que eu saí de lá voado. Negócio meio sinistro mesmo. Olha como é que é essa estrada aqui, família. É uma estrada que era bastante movimentada antigamente. Aí não sei o que aconteceu que ela parou de ser movimentada. Ficou tipo assim, não sei se foi porque ficou tipo abandonada. Uma estrada abandonada. Só que ela é boa, mas a chuva tá acabando com ela, se liga? Agora lá. Olha que tem duas casas aqui na estrada também. Ai não, aqui é a casa assombrada. Bora ver aqui. Olha o carro aqui. Fica de mão também, não, galera? Tudo certo. Aqui. Ó, tendo vocês verem. Não sei se vocês viram o relâmpago. Aí, família. Eita, escorregando. Me aperto todinho nesse lugar aqui, ó. Casa assombrada ali, essas terras. O pessoal fala que é bastante assombrada à noite. De dia também, galera, mas de dia ninguém anda, né? Só eu aí, galera, nesse meio do mato.
Filipe picks a desolate patch to park, surrounded by open fields and shadowy trees with no streetlights or houses in sight. His goal is simple: document the night from inside his car. But things start to change as a storm begins to roll in, thunder rumbles overhead, adding to the tension, and that's when the noises begin. At first, it's faint. A crunch here, a shift there. Then suddenly something presses against the car door. A soft tug, a clicking sound. Felipe's reaction is instant. He checks the locks, arms trembling. For a terrifying moment, it seems someone or something was trying to open the door. With no figure in sight but every nerve screaming danger, he scans the mirrors, breathing heavy, heart pounding. So the silence outside grows more menacing by the second. Unable to shake the dread, he finally starts the car. As he drives off, he passes a locked gate he'd seen earlier, now looking more like a barrier than an exit, but he doesn't stop. He doesn't look back. This next story takes us to China, and into one of the most disturbing urban explorations ever caught on camera. Known as Beanbag Adventures, this explorer built a following on Douyin, China's version of TikTok, for his eerie solo explorations of abandoned buildings. But in early 2022, one particular video would leave a lasting scar on anyone who saw it. He entered a decaying structure rumored to be a former organ harvesting lab. From the moment he stepped inside, something felt off. The stench alone was enough to send a warning. Drawn by a mix of curiosity and dread, he made his way into the basement and through a narrow, suffocating tunnel until he reached a room with a large concrete pool. Inside, floating in dark, infested water, were what appeared to be decaying bodies of children, at least a dozen, possibly more. The scene was so horrific that Beanbag Adventures began gagging, quickly fleeing the room.
兄弟们想看的地下实验室，心理承受能力强的朋友，随着镜头来。接下来大家所看到的一切物品都是视听效果，皆为道具，都是一些影视道具，拍摄用的。视频连线。
Later, he claimed they were movie props, likely a cover to avoid censorship or account removal, but viewers weren't convinced. The footage was too real, too horrifying. For months, he returned to his usual explorations, never mentioning the lab again until December 26, 2022. In a shocking update, he went back. This time the tank was covered with a blue tarp, but new, deeply unsettling items were in the room. Bottles, children's clothes, and a baby's cap. When he lifted the tarp, the sight was worse than before. The bodies had decayed even further. Bone and organ tissue were now visible, and there were more bodies than before. This was no set.
那个实验室，一池子小孩，一池子小孩。今天我就来看一看。拍上点视频，胆小的勿看啊！接下来注意细节，这里头小孩的帽子，池子里面看点细节啊！我去，福尔马林泡过之后，这里面可能渗水呀、咋的，全是水。我记得福尔马林就是水了，哇！之前啊，2022年12月26，兄弟们，这个味儿啊！我居然能挺住，注意细节啊！不知道说点什么。哎呀，这里还有这些药瓶子，哇，拜拜了，又要走了。看这鞋啊，我去，有点臭啊！哎呀。Bye bye.
Something was happening here, and it hadn't stopped. In a final terrifying exploration, he ventured deeper. What he found was unimaginable. Glass containers filled with preserved fetuses, dozens of human bones, and large green bags stuffed with skeletal remains. The bones weren't just from children, they were from newborns, teenagers, and adults alike. The upper floors held more clues, formaldehyde bottles, child-sized masks, and signs that this wasn't just an abandoned lab. It was something far more sinister. Then suddenly it all stopped. On January 15th, 2023, less than a month after that final upload, the Beanbag Adventures account vanished. No warning, no explanation, just gone. Online speculation exploded. Some believed the Chinese government had taken action. Others feared something darker, that he had been silenced, imprisoned, or worse. Was it really an organ harvesting site, a secret facility, or something beyond explanation? We may never know, and we may never hear from him again. Meet Ben, the face behind Exploring with Fighters, a YouTube channel dedicated to uncovering hidden places and forgotten ruins. In one particular video, what started as a routine overnight exploration quickly turned into something no one expected. So it was May 16th, 2018. Ben, along with his friends Carl, Kyle, and Charles, set out to explore Poole Park, a long-abandoned asylum in Wales with a grim history. Originally built in the 1800s as a manor house, it served as a prison during World War II before being transformed into a mental hospital. Since closing in 1990, the building has decayed, and locals whisper of it being haunted by the spirits of its former patients. Arriving around midnight, the group moved in quietly, trying to avoid attention. But the moment they stepped inside, the atmosphere shifted. The air felt heavy. Every creak of the floor echoed like a warning.
This is your typical haunted building.
So guys, Carl's been here a number of times and he seems to think it's some form of paranormal portal. He said some of the stuff that goes on in here is horrible. I don't know why I'm here. I just want to see an abandoned building. You know,
Carl, who had visited before, believed the building was a paranormal portal, claiming strange events were almost guaranteed. As they explored the upper floors, the team marveled at decaying woodwork and eerie silence.
I was expecting to be literally a shell.
Oh, fuck. Oh, hey, there's more stairs.
There's 3 floors.
There's all lights outside.
Yeah.
I was 17, my god. Yeah, this is where we literally got some crazy stuff in here. And that's last camera that came through the door. And it seems to like climb up the wall and it stayed there. And well, obviously, yeah, obviously you couldn't see it with your bare eyes, but obviously
But their cameras were already capturing strange anomalies, subtle flickers, and shadows they wouldn't notice until reviewing the footage later.
Don't just keep it to yourself. It could be significant in a way. Do you know what I mean?
I've also got a device on the floor in the doorway. If you can go near it or touch it, try and use our energy and come forward.
Setting up ghost hunting equipment, they began a session. At first, nothing seemed to happen. The devices remained quiet, the building still, but then things changed. A spirit box began producing voices, clear words, direct responses.
Mate, hassle. Did you hear that then? Sit down. Sit down, who said?
Is it me you want to sit down?
Yes.
Get down, ready. Did you just say that was Gary?
Yeah.
That's well cool, mate. Is that a coincidence, or is that something like answers your questions?
When one of them was told to sit down by a voice that seemed to come from nowhere and immediately felt heat beneath them, the tone shifted from curiosity to fear. Then, without warning, chaos erupted.
Nice one. Keep it bright. Keep it bright. Yeah.
On the red pod, as of yet, so yeah, this was always a little bit weird.
Sorry, no, it's just me. I talked to. You took piss out of it?
I'm not taking piss out of the feet. Don't feel like me.
A lot of creep times I've seen you.
I'm f***ing creeped out. You fucking told me to sit down there in the morning. Genuinely.
Should we make our way downstairs?
I was like that. I can't believe someone told me to sit down and then made my ass warm. It was like there was a heater under the floor.
I said that. The reason I stood up for was my ass warm. Yeah, of course. Well, you just got on. Fuck this, man. Fuck this. No. Seriously. I don't. Seriously, no, man. No. Fuck that shit, man. I'm going. Don't panic.
Carl was violently thrown to the ground by something unseen. At first, the others thought it was a prank, but the look on his face told a different story. Shaken and breathless, he insisted something had pushed him with force, and it wasn't human. Panic set in.
Nice and calm. No panicking.
Right, I've got the back torch here. Let me go in the middle.
No. No panicking.
Just one at a time down these stairs.
Don't panic.
No, don't panic. It's fine.
So it's just like forward, like backwards, man.
Right, let Carl go out first. Yeah, go. Yeah, pass me my shit.
Wait, I need to use all this torch behind me, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna do.
Right, fuck. Grab this camera. Fucking camera.
It's all dry, man.
First of all, what did you want to tell us?
Just let's get to the car, come on. Keep all the lights on.
They grabbed their gear and made for the exit, trying to stay calm as they moved through the darkness. Every second felt like an eternity. Inside their car, safe but shaken, none of them could explain what had just happened. The footage went viral, leaving viewers stunned. Was it really a haunting or something even more terrifying?
YouTuber Ski Raw, known for his daring solo camping adventures, set out on a mission to document something truly unsettling: the Kuyang, a supernatural entity from Indonesian folklore, said to be a witch or sorcerer capable of detaching its head from its body. The day passed without incident, but as night fell and rain poured down, the atmosphere shifted. After a quiet meal of noodles, Ski Raw settled into his tent, only to be jolted awake by eerie noises outside. Stepping out to investigate, he was met with a horrifying sight. A figure wrapped like a mummy, motionless and corpse-like. Fear took over as he rushed back into his tent, zipping it shut and reciting prayers for protection. He remained wide awake for the rest of the night, too terrified to close his eyes. Was it truly the Kuyang, or something even more sinister lurking in the darkness?